Hi everyone, I brought you here to the Erie Canal today. I brought you on a virtual field trip because I live here in upstate New York and it is right along the Erie Canal. So the Erie Canal, as you will see from the reading, it goes from all the way across the state of New York. So it starts down there at Lake Erie and it travels all the way to the state capital, which is Albany. From there it flows down the Hudson River and then down to New York City out into the Atlantic Ocean. So it took 8 years to build, and it is 40 feet wide and 4 feet deep. It took 50,000 workers to build the Erie Canal, as it is man-made. They dug especially in the first part of creating the Erie Canal, it was dug out by hand. And 1,000 workers, over 1,000 workers, they died during the creation of the Erie Canal due to diseases or the canal collapsing on them, as well as people drowning. When they built the Erie Canal, there were 5 Native American tribes were affected because they were displaced. So when the men came in to build the Erie Canal, it destroyed homes of Native Americans, and the Native Americans, they are the native people to this land. So it did have a couple negative effects to it, but the positives is that it brought transportation from one side of the state to the other, from the Atlantic all the way up until Lake Erie. Today it is used as a popular tourist attraction, and there are many times, especially throughout the summer, you will see ferries and they'll run along here on the Erie Canal, and people are welcome to go on a cruise for $12 for children and $25 for adults. They can buy tickets and go down the Erie Canal. So it's a very historical place here in New York, and it started losing the transportation that it was usually used for in the 1950s, because in the 1950s we relied more so on railroads. As you can see here on the side, there's one on this side and the other on that side. There are paths, and these paths were also used for horses and mules to travel up and down the Erie Canal. So it wasn't just the boats transporting the goods and the people, but also up and down on the sides where the horses and mules were able to transport, and they were able to get from one place to another. And that's all I have for you here today. Thanks for joining me on our virtual class trip here out in upstate New York at the Erie Canal. Bye-bye.